How's everybody tonight? Welcome to another edition of the Mav and Call Show. I'm Mav.
I'm Carl. Howdy, howdy.
How's everybody doing, Call?
I'm doing good, man. How about
I
you?
am too. It's been a good day.
Yes, it was a good day.
Yeah, I thought so. We had a really good day. Call was off work today, and
Yes,
we got some stuff done around the house.
not too bad. And it's not going by fast either. It's still sunny outside.
Yeah,
so
it's beautiful.
we got about another hour of sunshine left.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You guys are going to love tonight's show. We are
Oh.
doing
Horror movies, part 2.
part 2. We got a really, really good response on our last horror movie show.
Yeah, we did. I was shocked.
Yeah,
I
me
was
too.
like, what? That many?
Yeah, yeah.
So let's try to get more with this one.
Our first movie tonight goes out to someone very near and dear to mine and Cause hearts, Miss Carol.
It's my mama.
Cause Mama. We love you, Miss Carol.
Yes.
Our first movie tonight, of course, The Others
Yes, that was a great movie.
with Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, when that movie came out, I had that theory about how that movie went down.
Right.
I told our buddy Jeff, I said, man, what if we're dead? And when we see what we think is a ghost is actually a living person.
Right.
And whenever we see them and they see us, they're seeing the ghost because we're dead, but we don't know it.
Right.
How would we know if we are? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's messed up. I had that
Great movie.
that theory 2 weeks before they aired the trailer for it.
The thing I remember the most, like when she took the sheet off her daughter and her daughter's eyes were like white. You remember
Oh,
that?
when she was like, "Don't be mad, I am your daughter."
Yeah, and
Yeah,
she looked all
It
weird.
wasn't a sheet. It was a She had to dress up or something. It was a veil.
Yeah, a veil. That was right.
Yeah.
And then the old blind lady, I remember her just looking creepy,
Yeah. She did look creepy.
you know. And then,
Yeah.
of course, the very sad ending.
Yeah, when she found out how they passed.
Yeah, the very sad.
I like the people the house help. You know, that
Yeah.
came knocking on the door. They was like, "Oh, we worked here before," you know.
Yep.
And then later on, those 3 people that showed up, Nicole Kidman was going through this book she found in the house, and it was a Book of the Dead. And it's where, if you don't know what that is, it's a book that people used to keep that had pictures of dead people in it, but they dressed them up and had them sitting in chairs and everything, but their eyes were closed.
Right.
And then she was going through this book, and she found them 3 people that came knocking on her door to help around the house and everything.
Yeah.
And she was like, "No way!" And then she went out and found their graves outside in the backyard and everything. It was under some leaves.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, the butler guy, the older guy, he kept raking up the leaves on
Yeah.
top of their graves so that nobody could see them.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, can't be having that showing," you know.
It's true.
But yeah, that was a great movie, man. Yeah, she had to keep all the doors in the house locked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was messed up.
Yeah. Yeah, Nicole Kidman is a fantastic actress.
Yeah, I like her.
She really is. Our next movie, which is one of my personal favorites, I am not going to lie, I think Sam Neill knocked it out of the park in this movie. Event Horizon.
Yeah, that was good.
This is, I mean, the prevailing theory right now is it takes place in the same universe as Hellraiser.
Mm-hmm.
Because the interdimensional drive or whatever on the ship,
Yeah,
identical to the cube, it needs to be in a certain position
yeah.
before anything happens.
Yeah, and if you remember the last Hellraiser movie where it took place in outer space, they had to make that cube out of light.
Light, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they kind of did the same thing with Event Horizon, and the ship disappears for 7 years
Yeah.
and comes back from somewhere.
I think purgatory maybe.
Well, he tells them there toward the end, he said something about hell. He said, no, it's so much worse than hell.
Didn't the guy like not have eyes at some point?
Yeah, he tore his own eyes
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, that was...
It's been a while since I've seen
Yeah,
it.
that is a fantastic movie, though. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got some great, like, I don't, very subtle things, and you have to watch it in the lighting. Like when it first starts, the girl walks on the Event Horizon, and there's no lights or anything
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
and you kind of see a light come through the side of the window and you see a body floating over. You just notice this body floating,
Right.
and then it starts looking around the room, and with different lighting techniques, she doesn't see it, but you do. You know what I mean? It's really cool.
Right.
I love Event Horizon. I don't think it got enough love when it came out.
Right. Yeah.
My brother and I went and seen it when it was in theaters when we were young, and man, we were both just in shock at how cool this movie was.
Mm-hmm.
I think it holds up even today.
Yeah, I think it would.
And it
I'd
was,
still watch it.
yeah, it was actually directed by Paul W.S. Anderson,
Okay.
who did like John Wick's and things like that.
Yeah, I like the John Wick movies.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's just a fantastic director. Our next movie is one of Kaw's favorites, with the one and only Mr. Jeff Goldblum,
Mm-hmm.
The Fly.
Yeah, I gotta love The Fly, man. That's another movie that didn't get enough
Yeah,
recognition. Like that movie was fantastic, especially for its time.
mm-hmm.
The effects they had,
Yeah,
the makeup they did, man, that was something else, man. That was out of this world. And man, he's biting off his fingernails and like the whole nails coming off and everything. When he was transforming, he's like, man, what is going on with me?
yeah. That is.
And there's you got to have a strong stomach to watch that, man. They got
you
some
do.
pretty gruesome scenes in there.
Yeah, it's got some pretty rough stuff in it. But I thought his makeup was phenomenal.
Yeah, especially when he was like a full blown fly, man.
Yeah,
man, that gave me nightmares, dude.
That was great. That was great. Our next one is a fantastic movie, The Fourth Kind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was really good.
You know, I mean, you got some. I love the way they split screened it, and you know, one side was like the actors, and the other side was like supposed to be the real police videos, and
Yeah.
that was just a phenomenal movie.
That was that. Now that I'm thinking about it, man, like they never really said, was that about aliens or was it about demons?
It was about aliens.
Aliens. I
all
thought
the
so. In
people.
fact, I remember kind of like they showed a scene that didn't have a spaceship in it above the house or something
above
like
the
that.
house, and it happens really fast, but
Yeah.
you can see it in the police. You know, the police
It's real
footage.
dark.
And all of it, if you remember, all the people that were coming to her talking about they can't sleep and they're having issues and stuff,
And something about an owl.
she would put them under, and they would always talk about everybody the same white owl, because that was the
Yeah.
image that was imprinted when they were taken.
Yeah, and then they'd start freaking out whenever they saw the face of somebody
Yeah.
that was coming to get them and do stuff on them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do
And,
tests or whatever they were doing.
And I remember in the footage, the one guy that shot his family and himself, not to give too much away, if you've never seen it, it's excellent.
Yeah, that's a real.
And he's screaming at her because he wanted her to come. And he says, "What does Zimabu Ether mean?" And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about." "Well, Zimabu Ether." Well, that is Sumerian.
Yeah.
So, and I won't give no more away, but I love the way they incorporated the Sumerian language into that, because according to the Sumerians, they learned their language from the gods
Yeah.
in the sky.
And that's like a forgotten language now.
Yeah.
isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I thought it was excellent, excellent movie.
Yeah, it was good.
Mia Jovovich, she was great. I thought she was fantastic in it. You know. Now they did tell the truth in the movie. Alaska does have the most missing persons cases in anywhere in the world, and they've been visited more times by the FBI and CIA
Yeah, that's crazy.
than anywhere else in the world. So that should tell you something's going on. You know what I mean? Our next one, and we're going way back here to the original, Mr. George Romero, Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, that was really good. They're coming to get you, Barbara. that movie. I remember seeing that when I was a
As a
kid.
kid, yeah.
Man, I seen I don't know if I don't know if I seen both of them. I don't know if it was a double feature, but I definitely seen part two
Right.
in the drive-in.
Yeah.
And so whenever we got home, it was dark out, and I was always afraid of the dark. And we opened the front door, and I was still scared from the movie. And so I opened the front door, and then my parents and my brother and sister, they're like, brains, because that's what they was saying in the movie. Oh man, that scared the crap out of me, dude. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, the original Night of the Living Dead, and I mean this is an absolutely phenomenal movie because
Mhm.
it created the genre, the zombie genre.
Yeah,
It, I mean, this was George Romero
yeah, The Walking Dead.
y-
You know,
I
and
mean,
how did they come about? Acid Rain, something?
um, I
I can't
believe,
remember. I'd have to watch
yeah,
it again.
yeah,
It's been so long.
yeah. I mean, it was just I mean, when you're able to create a whole movie genre by yourself,
Right.
you did something.
Yep.
And not only did George
Yeah, he's
Romero,
sitting back thinking like,
yeah,
they got Dracula, they got the werewolf, they got the mummy. How about Walking Dead people?
yeah,
They want your
and
brains.
it's phenomenal what zombies have become.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that came
dude, they
from
got
his
some
brain.
they got some really good zombie movies out there since
Oh
then.
yeah, oh yeah,
I don't like the fast zombies movies
yeah.
where they're
No,
running and stuff. Like,
yeah.
oh no, they're supposed to be walking slowly. Let's keep it like that.
You know,
Let's not unlock new fears. you know?
now we are to a movie that I have seen several times. I don't think Caw has seen it,
Yeah, I haven't seen this one.
but if you guys have seen it, message us or comment because you'll know what I'm talking about. Fire in the Sky. This movie is terrifying. And the reason it's terrifying is because it is the true story of Travis Walton.
I don't know who that is.
He was a logger back in the 70s, middle to late 70s. Him and 5 of his friends were all logging one day. And they come across, it looks like a fire in the sky.
Mm.
So they drive to see what it is. And there's like a ship, but it's the light is so bright that it looked like there was a fire. Well, Travis jumped out of the truck. Now this is a true story, and I have seen many interviews, even recent interviews with Travis Walton,
Okay.
and he says everything the movie shows you. He went to see what the light actually was. They were thinking maybe a helicopter. But when he did, it picked him up. His friends went back. They kind of drove down the road. They got scared or whatever because it abducted him. And they go back to try and find him and they can't. So they go into town and for 5 days they are accused of his murder. Okay. They take polygraph after polygraph. I don't know how many these guys have actually had over the years since this happened, but every single one of them have passed, including Travis Walton himself.
Right.
5 days later, they get a phone call. Travis is over 100 miles away and butt naked. They returned him. However, he has 5 days worth of hair growth on his face.
This does sound familiar.
Yeah.
I think I might have seen this.
He goes into detail about what he actually remembers from being on the ship.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, it's pretty terrifying what he went through.
Right.
A Fire in the Sky is a fantastic movie. You know what I mean? Just phenomenal movie. It's one of those things that you hope and pray you never have to experience.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's great. If you've never seen Fire in the Sky, you will not regret the watch. Trust me. Now we're on to our next movie, and I'm sure Kaw has seen this one.
I've seen it, but it hasn't been a while.
Constantine with
Yeah,
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I like Keanu Reeves. He's a good actor.
Yes, he is. I loved Constantine. I mean, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it was a good movie. I just don't really
I mean,
recall, you know what I mean? Like,
I remember
what it was he doing in that.
he fought evil,
Yeah,
and he
alright.
was really sick. He had lung cancer.
Didn't St. Michael come down in that movie?
Yes,
And Gabriel.
Yeah, they were the bad guys or whatever, and
Yeah.
you know, in cahoots with Satan or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just an amazing.
I remember he had something. I'm wanting to say, I'm not sure if it was Gabriel or not, but wasn't it a her?
Yeah, it was a he, she is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and put his fingers in his.
The devil did.
Was it the devil? And he like sucked out all the tar and stuff from smoking.
Yeah, he took his lung cancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The devil took his lung cancer because he wanted him to live,
Right.
and so he gave his life up for the girl, and then he started going to heaven. And it just an excellent movie all the way around. The special effects were phenomenal. You know,
Yeah.
I think the angels were not supposed to be gender specific. You know what I mean?
Right. That's why I couldn't tell if it was a guy or a girl.
Yeah. I mean, I believe Tilda Swinton played it. I could be wrong, but I believe it was. But it's just a great movie with the way they did it. You know.
He was good in The Devil's Advocate.
Oh yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a good movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Al
Him and
Pacino.
Al Pacino, yeah.
Our next movie, and we always have to mention him when doing a horror podcast. John Carpenter,
Yeah, I like John
Ghost
Carpenter.
of Mars.
See, that's another one I'm not too familiar with, man.
Oh, I love Ghosts of Mars. It's
And I
where,
see Ice Cube's in it.
oh yeah, Natasha Henstridge, Ice Cube. They're on Mars, and they are mining.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Mars,
Yeah,
actually.
okay. Yeah.
And
I've seen this.
they come across. I don't know what to call. I don't know if they're alien spirits. I'm not sure, but they take humans over, and when they do that, you know, like some of these guys are really, they cut their faces and you know their heads, and I mean it's brutal to watch, and so they're trying to fight like a whole city of like, you know, just I don't know, spirits,
Yeah.
but they're people, you know what I mean. But it's got a whole storyline. Phenomenal movie. You know, Ice Cube is great in it. There's several big names in it. You know what I mean? It's just a really good movie all the way around. And again, it's John Carpenter, so you can bank that there's some really good stuff in there. Now we're on to a movie some people may have never heard of. Okay. It wasn't big or anything like that. I watched this years ago. I thought it was phenomenal. Session 9. This is a you want to talk about a slow burn, absolutely psychological horror movie. Session 9.
Yeah.
These guys go into a mental asylum that's shut down. And they're supposed to be taking out the asbestos. Okay. So as they're working, you know, the guys wander around and whatnot. But David Caruso is in it.
Yeah, I know who that is.
And he goes into like this old doctor's office or something. And he finds these tapes. And they're marked session 1, 2, 3, you know, through 9. So he starts listening. He pops tape 1 in, you know, and they're talking to the patient, or the doctor's talking to the patient. And as the tapes go along, you know, the guy supposedly has different personalities that come out.
Right.
And by the time he gets to session 9, the voice on the tape is frightening as hell. I mean, it's frightening. And he doesn't, because, you know, again, it's going on for like a week. You know what I mean? So every day is different and blah, blah, blah. But he's not really paying attention to what is going on around him.
Yeah.
And by the time you get to the end, I can promise you it is worth the watch. I do not want to give the end of this movie away, but it will seriously blow your mind.
Yeah.
I was like, now that's a movie.
Yeah, I remember seeing it, but I didn't remember the name of the movie. Did you happen to hear that when you were talking?
Yeah.
It was like a thud?
Yeah.
That was weird.
Probably. I think it's one of my kids.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I can kind of hear
that was a
him.
weird sounding thud, though, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I heard it. Our last movie, and this is one, of course, again, for the ladies. Now, I also have to
Oh,
say...
man, no, because it ain't for just the ladies, dude.
No,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. But I knew a lot of
love
girls
this
that loved
movie,
this
man.
movie, man. A lot of girls. I loved it myself, but
Yeah.
I know a lot of girls.
I was a
just-
goth kid growing up, so
You know,
I loved it.
The Craft.
Yeah, man, Fairuza Balk.
Nev Campbell.
Man, yeah, Fairuza
Yep.
Balk. It don't matter who you say, I'm gonna be like, yeah, Fairuza Balk. Man, Nancy was hot, dude.
Yes, the Craft.
Yeah.
Where the girls become the witches,
Yeah.
and
Nancy goes crazy with power,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And
yeah. The
you know what was cool, man? Like, I forgot the girl's name. It was I can't remember her name, but she was looking in a mirror, and when she turned her head, like the mirror, it was different in the mirror.
right,
Like it turned the same way she did, and it's not supposed to.
right.
It should have been like that, but it was like it stayed the same. You know what I mean? Like, it was weird.
Yeah, I remember the beach scene where they're all, you know, with the candles all around, and they're chanting, and
Hail to the guardians of the watchtowers of the east.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, that was a phenomenal movie. I loved it.
Oh yeah, it was great the way they did it.
Yeah,
You know, it was kind of one of those movies that you kind of wanted to see a part 2 that they never made.
yeah.
You know, and I think that's a lot. I think this whole list probably could have seriously had part 2s because they were that
Right.
good.
Well, Night of the Living Dead did, but I think that was a little cheesier. Than,
Yeah, that was a
you
little.
know.
Yeah, that wasn't really George Romero.
You know what? There
stuff.
was some scary parts in that, though. Okay, so first of all, the dude inside the drum. You know what I'm talking about? Like the first one they released.
Yeah.
He's called some. I forgot what they called him, but
Yes.
him and the lady they had on the table, and she got up and they was talking to her, and she was like half rotted.
Vaguely.
And
yeah.
she was
Yeah.
naked and everything, and they was like, "What's your purpose?" And then she the way she spoke and everything was creepy, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, she sat up and said why they were doing what they're doing, that they had to live off of eating brains or something for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this like. I seriously would have went to the theaters and seen Event Horizon 2 or Ghosts of Mars 2.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I feel like some of these aren't really horror movies though; they're like sci-fi.
They're considered sci-fi horror.
Okay.
They have their own subgenre.
Yeah.
But if you, I mean, think about it. If you're on the like Event Horizon is sci-fi, science fiction.
I could see
horror,
that being horror. Like,
because it's based in the Hellraiser universe.
yeah,
So you knew it was going to be kind of brutal. You know what I'm saying?
right.
But like, you know, and they're supposed to be making a new Constantine, which I'm waiting to come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I seen a thing today. It's there is a part 2 they're going to release this year.
Yeah, I hope so, because
Yeah.
everybody's been waiting for this.
Yeah.
You know, but like Session 9, I don't think you could do a part 2. The way they did it, I mean, it
Yeah, some movies just end.
yeah,
You
it
know,
was a
like
one and
They don't
done.
leave nothing for a part 2.
Yeah, it was kind of a one and done, and you were just like, holy hell, did that just happen?
Yeah.
You know. But it at first you're watching it and you're kind of like, man, this movie, you know, but it's what I call a slow burn.
Yeah.
It's building up to something that you seriously want to see. You're like, holy hell.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time he gets to Session 9, you will notice a massive world of difference in what the doctor is talking to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Holy cow. Fantastic movie. But if you guys have any horror movies that you love, send them to us. We would love to discuss them. Maybe it's something we haven't seen and we can watch.
Right.
You know, I mean,
I'm always down to watch a horror movie.
yeah. I mean, you never know. You know, I know there's a few horror movies coming out that I want to see. You know.
Yeah.
But
I don't know anything that's coming out. I haven't been keeping up with. I've been too busy working and doing this. And,
yeah.
and our stuff's usually about older stuff,
Yeah.
from the 80s and 90s and stuff. But
yeah.
So yeah, I haven't been really keeping up with the world.
Well,
I go to work and come home and go to
that's
sleep
exactly
and wake
it.
up and go to work and come home and go to sleep and then
I'm fortunate. I work at home, so
Yeah.
it does
Lucky
make
him.
my job much easier. But during the day, I can work on our podcasts, and I work at home. I get paid to stay home and do my work. So
I don't know if I'm allowed to say where I work. I work at this one Mick place, and I do my job there.
yeah,
I'm the maintenance guy.
Caw. I always tell Caw that I had a rough day, and he just kind of laughs me off.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever, dude. I'm coming home limping and shit.
I'm like, dude, I can't help it.
I get out. So after I get done working, and I sit down in the car on the car ride home, I get nice and comfortable, and everything starts setting in. And then when we get home, I get out of the car, and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
I'm like hobbling.
Yeah.
I do work hard, man. A lot of people think
does.
that job ain't hard. It is, man. I do a lot of heavy lifting and squatting and scrubbing and all kinds of stuff, man. Like, and I stay busy all day long.
Yeah.
I don't sit around on my phone. I don't talk to nobody at work really.
Yeah. He does.
Yeah, I go in there and I work hard and I come home.
Yep. I always tease him all the time about what hard days I have, and
Yeah.
we kind of have a give and take when it comes to that stuff. He makes me laugh, I make him laugh.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will say my job is hard because
Your job is like mind numbing.
my job is I don't even know how to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's like talking to a wall. Actually, a wall would be better conversation
Yeah.
because there would be no back talk. But I did go to school. I got all kinds of stuff to do what I do. I have all kinds of medical certs, but even then, sometimes, you know what I mean? You're like, man. So I'm able to stay home and work on these podcasts, but I do love my job. I have a great job.
I like mine too.
And it's always
I wouldn't trade jobs. I like my job.
right, and it's always good to have a job you love.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. So if you guys have anything, comment, questions, anything, shoot us up. Hit us up. Shoot us an email, whatever.
Shoot
Doesn't
us
matter.
up.
Yeah, shoot us something, whatever. And we will see you guys later.
All right, see y'all.